I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Seirakumya has joined us. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, I'm glad you're on the show. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Hi, my name is Seira, your limited time dreamy pun, and cozy mommy VTuber. I am a cozy variety VTuber. I play mostly cozy games, some RPGs, and I also do ASMR. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am part of the Black Guild, the Twitch Black Guild, the Twitch Latin Guild, and the Twitch Pride Guild.
Oh, cool. Excellent. We'll talk all about that here in a second. But first of all, listen to that voice, folks. ASMR indeed. So how did you get into VTubing?
I got into VTubing. I first started as a Howl fan, as most people do. I was a big Una fan. And I remember seeing Iron Now specifically. And I am also Puerto Rican. Soy Boricua, Puerto Rican, and I am a disabled. So seeing what she was able to do was very, very inspiring. And so I wanted to be more like her.
Well,
there was several.
Yeah, it certainly is a someone to emulate, isn't it? I mean, that's everything,
it really is
everything that she's been able to do, and
she's really amazing.
Yeah, and you've been able to kind of follow in the footsteps here and do your own thing with it.
I try my best.
Oh well, I think you're doing really well.
Thank you.
Obviously, and I'm glad that you've been able to show your talents with us and share it with us. It's great to have this available, isn't it? It does give you a lot of chance to spread your wings a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow. So
I got to experience things that I would never have got to experience outside of VTubing.
Meet people from all around the world.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it is really. It still kind of shocks me after all this time, but the planet's gotten really small. When it comes to that. Other than time zones, the time zones are still really huge.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I talked to somebody from Singapore a couple of days ago, and they were on like 3 days ahead of me.
Oh goodness!
I'm like, what? So tell me, should I even Should I even wake up tomorrow?
I don't think that's how time zones work. Pretty sure.
Well, then I messed something up. Oh well, I'll get it in editing. It's my excuse for everything. So when you got started, well, first of all, when did you get started?
I debuted on May 15th of 2023.
So it's been about a year and a half, well, maybe a little over.
Yeah, almost 2 years now.
Oh, cool. Now, has it gone as well as you thought it would?
Honestly, I didn't have that many expectations going in. I thought by now I would have been like, okay, I'm too tired to continue. But I have gotten to experience such amazing things that I never would have dreamed of as a VTuber. So it's really nice.
That's cool. And you've been able to branch out into a couple different things too. You mentioned the ASMR stuff and the VTubing. How did you get into the ASMR?
Basically, I am tired all of the time because I am disabled. And so it was just kind of a natural progression.
So you kind of use that to your advantage.
Yes.
Well, that works. Sometimes, as you know, probably more than me, you deal with the cards you're dealt.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's the only way to get through life.
Yeah, that's right. And believe me, I've bluffed my way through a lot of things. I've got it 7 high. Okay.
You know, it works.
Yes. When you first did that, the ASMR type stuff, was it a scripted situation or was it a kind of a long form stream?
I usually do scripted situations. Actually, I used to, and I'm trying to return to doing scripted ASMR over on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems to be pretty popular. I think it certainly is. It gives people a chance to do a little voice acting type of work, doesn't it?
It does, and I do love me some acting, so it works.
So, with the situation you have of being tired all the time, is it tough for you to stream for long periods of time?
So it wasn't until very recently.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh.
I unfortunately contracted a very, very bad case of pneumonia in January. So since then, I was out of streaming for about a month because I was in the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
And since then, I've been kind of building up my tolerance for streaming again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was streaming 6 hours every stream for a period of time there.
Wow, that's quite a bit, even if you don't have pneumonia.
Oh, it was all my energy.
Yeah, I bet.
That was everything I had from that.
Yeah. I have had pneumonia, I think 9 times.
Oh goodness.
And a couple of times double pneumonia, and stretching back from when I was.
That's more than me.
When I was a baby. I mean, like, and when I was been a baby, it was 1960s. So you can imagine the technology there.
Oh, goodness
You've got pneumonia? Here, I'm going to hit you with a rock. See if that works. It wasn't quite that bad.
I can imagine that not being super effective.
Well, you tend to want to get healed pretty quick.
Yeah.
No, I can tell you, I would have pneumonia and still have to do radio shows.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, and doing a talk show, you ask one question. Hopefully, they'll give you a long answer. Then you get out of the studio and cough for a while, and then come back. Hopefully, when they're done, and ask the next question.
Yeah.
But
when my community found out I had pneumonia, they were like, "Yeah, you're not allowed to stream until you're better."
Yeah.
I was just like, "But stream." They're like, "No, we don't care. We'll see you when you're better."
Yeah. Well, isn't it nice to have that type of connection?
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's very funny though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pneumonia, and now we're speaking on both of our experience here. Experienced pneumonia people.
Truly.
You really never get any energy from when you have that at all. It just saps everything out of you, and sounds like you're starting from a place where there's that much to sap off to begin with.
Right.
And that really puts you behind a couple of 8 balls. So are you on the better side of it now? I mean, are you improving?
I am a lot better. I'm able to stream again, which is a major improvement.
How much has that become a part of your life now?
I'm not kidding when I say, other than the hospitalization, I think the longest I've taken off of streaming in the past year and a half is about 2 weeks before I start going insane.
Yeah, I can imagine it really becomes, especially given your situation, it becomes such a big part of getting out there and meeting people and escaping a little bit and when you're online with the avatar and stuff, you don't have those boundaries that you do at home. And it's a big world for you. I just said it's a little world, but it's a big world too when you get into it. Did it take very long for you to get comfortable with streaming?
I basically threw myself into it and just hoped for the best. And I was very, very fortunate that I met a number of lovely friends when I first started streaming that kind of supported me into the point that I was comfortable with being more on my own with streaming. So I would just continue to throw stuff at the wall, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we love
it." It's nice to have a few yes men when you need them.
It was great. It was very helpful when I first started.
Well, yeah, but it does give you that little bit of a wind beneath your wings when you get there, and yeah, this is worth it. And so, how long did it was it tough for you to interact with chat at the start?
Well, in the very beginning, my chat was all people that I knew.
Mm.
So it was kind of just like, those are my friends.
Mm.
I just talked to them the same way that I talked to my friends, to the point that in my very first stream, there was like a test stream. There is a clip that no longer exists of me threatening to disconnect my friend, one of the chat members who was a friend of mine, their internet if I had seen them on Twitter the rest of the day, because they swore they were taking a break.
Yeah, I'm sure it's there somewhere. We'll have to try to find it.
It's probably somewhere.
That's for you lost media people out there. If you can find that clip, let us know.
You've seen nothing.
You know nothing. With that, and you started getting more people that you didn't know in the stream, that made it more comfortable for you to meet new people?
Well, I operate on basically the standard of Seira loves everyone and everyone means you.
Mm.
So even if it's someone that I don't particularly know well, I'm able to say, hey, I still love you because you're here.
Mm. That's a great attitude to have, and it does kind of start you on the path to having a reciprocal relationship with chat. And it sounds like to me you've got that in Aces right now. I mean,
Yeah,
they're practically taking they're threatening to take away your internet if you don't get well.
I think it's partially that there's part of my community that knows that I won't take a break unless I absolutely have to. So they're just like, go rest or else.
Oh, geez. So with what you have going on, and this is one of those situations where you tell if I ask a question that you don't want to answer, do like my mom says and say, "Shut up, old man." Okay. It's like a Pavlovian response I have to it.
No
But
worries.
Are you in a situation where you can't get out of the house, or can you get out a little bit?
I can get out a little bit, but I can't get up for long without very intense and severe pain.
Ooh, that's awful. And yeah.
So, like, I go food shopping, and it's difficult for me to move for the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah. That would make that's a situation where you would want to go out sometimes, but then you have to weigh it against what's going to happen when you do go out.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that is tough to deal with. And does streaming kind of help that a little bit, or take some of that
Well, I
off
think
of
that's
you?
part of the reason I relate so much to Iron Mouse, because I definitely understand what it's like to not have any way to get out of your own home.
Yeah.
And so that streaming becomes the main connection to the outside world that you have. And I am so eternally grateful for the connection that I've made.
Yeah. It kind of was made for you, wasn't it?
I mean, yeah, it really was. I'm autistic, so I definitely have my own struggles with it. But I am always going to treasure my community, everyone who joins, whether you stay or you go, even if you're just here for one stream. I treasure every single person that comes along my way.
That's wonderful. I say I'm much older than anybody I've interviewed here. So when I was young and in school, and dinosaurs were roaming, the word autistic wasn't even mentioned in the early 70s. In fact, in the early 80s, it wasn't mentioned very often. And I can look back now and remember some folks who were having difficulties who certainly might have fallen onto the spectrum one way or another. I feel badly because they weren't treated well by the other students or by by the system. Did you find out about your autism early, or was it a later type of situation?
I found out when I was 13.
Boy,
So it
that's
was
a
kind of
time to
like
find
middle
out.
of the way.
Woof. Not like anything else is going on when you're 13.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. I had everybody goes through things around that time.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, did life become easier for you once you knew what was going on?
Oh, absolutely not. I think it's actually funny because 13, 14 is when I kind of like transitioned a lot of my social life onto the internet. So when I became a VTuber, it was just kind of like the differences are very small. I just get a quicker reaction time because I'm chatting with someone, and as opposed to DMing someone or talking on a forum. Yes, I've been on the internet since the time of forums.
Yes, well, I tell you, my email address that I've used for about 40 years ends in netscape.net. So that tells you how long I've been on the net.
Oh my.
Yes, people don't even know what that is. First of all, net, Netscape. Yeah, it's AOL now, but I still use it just to confuse people.
I love it.
Yeah, and plus I have so many filters on it now. I don't get any spam from anywhere. I probably have more filters than anybody in the United States at this point on that particular account. But
I respect them.
Yeah, I'm glad. I don't need to hear more about the retirement I'm not going to ever have to be able to get. The the transition, the learning that and trying to incorporate that into what you were doing at that time. And again, 13 is a 13 is an age where so many things are going on. And you got onto the internet, so you were able to take that and use that as a maybe a pressure valve release or something like that. But were you able to find ways to assist you in daily life once you found out about the autism?
Oh no. With the abilities that I had, the assistance that I had, gratefully, my mom caught on that there was something up. And so she was just like, this is totally normal and not something that's strange at all. But I am going to help this child.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was that at least.
Yeah. So I was I'm very, very grateful for how I grew up. And I think even as an adult, like I still have the support of my mother. And so like if I get I get an amazing opportunity or something happens on stream, my mom is usually the first person to hear about it. Oh, cool. I'll be like, Ma, do you want to know what happened on stream today? You want to know? And she's like, yeah, I want to know.
Well, that's excellent. I certainly our acceptance of folks who are on the spectrum is much better now. Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Sort of.
I mean,
depends on who you ask.
In some ways, but at least now I'm not going to try to apologize for myself or anybody, but I think we're getting more of the benefit of allowing folks with autism to live as normal a life as possible.
It depends.
And again, that's some reason, and your mileage will vary in some things, but I certainly hope we get to the point where we don't have to worry about that so much. But again, I'm asking for people to be accepting, which isn't exactly our forte.
Unfortunately, no. But I think we're getting better with it.
I hope so.
And I've noticed, especially in VTubing, there are there are a lot of autistic VTubers.
There is.
And so there's a lot more acceptance for autistic people in VTubing.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many of us that if you're not accepting, that's a lot of people you're not being accepting towards.
Yeah, that's a lot of your audience. I can say from the radio days, don't mess with your audience.
A lot of your audience, a lot of your coworkers. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people at that point. You tend to find yourself very, very alone if you keep that going. So tell me about the models. They're you collect them like some people collect baseball cards.
I do.
Which is great. I love this, by the way. I think this is wonderful that you're doing this. But why?
So I use pre-made models, and I did not. Even the model you see now, not the model that I started with. I started with a $2 pre-made. That was a cloud dog. And I customized it within an inch of its life. At the time, I mostly did color customs. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And people saw the model, and people didn't realize it was a pre-made. And so they're like, that's a custom. And I had someone come up to me and ask me if someone else had stolen my design. And I was just like, no, honey, it's a pre-made. Anyone could have this design, I promise. But I like being able to experiment with pre-mades. It's fun. I get to dip into different parts of who I want to be and how I want to express myself.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing because you get to rather than showing the one and dealing with whatever limitations or that particular model does, you can switch to something else and have a whole new spectrum to choose from.
And don't get me wrong, I've considered getting a custom model, but I also have very specific specifications for what I would want a custom model to look like. I would want it to be able to be written a certain way and have a certain amount of flexibility. And a lot of customs that are in my price range are not going to do that. So I've come to kind of just love the pre-mades because not only do they provide me flexibility, they are more affordable.
Yeah.
The amount of models that I've seen, and I've seen some lovely, well-rigged models, but they're like $2,000.
Yeah.
And I respect the hell out of the artist. I just don't have $2,000.
Yeah. I could buy like 6 cars with that. Because if you saw the cars I drove, it might even be more.
And that's for me as someone who is again very disabled, and so I can't work and stuff, and so that's all my money for like a year.
Yeah. If you don't want to do things like eat or pay rent or anything like that, you can certainly do that in that period of time. But the fact is that you've taken what you can do with both hands, and you're wringing every bit that you can out of it, and attach things to it and nailed it. You have taken it into your own hands, literally. I mean that shows a lot of determination.
It's actually funny. So my grandmother was an interior decorator, and so I learned a lot of my visual stuff from her. And she was the kind of person, she could see something that would be online and it would be like $3,000, and she'd be like, "Cool, I can make that though." And then she would go and do that. And she would make it for like $200. And it would look better than the thing that we saw in the store.
Oh yeah, it was more custom, and it was
right,
and it was hand done by someone. It makes a big difference in person.
So I try to do very similar with pre-mades. Even though I don't make the pre-made, I'm very selective in the pre-mades that I choose. I've spent months selecting the perfect pre-made for a certain time in a certain position. And then I will spend I used to spend a week or two just customizing models.
Wow.
Just customizing like one model. It would take me about a week or two just to like do color texture changes, do parameter changes in VTube Studio. So it's less that it's more that I'm, instead of paying with money, I'm paying a dime. And I have a lot of time to go and perfect things to the way that I want them to be.
Yeah, but you're also enjoying it, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. Love it.
Yeah. You have to enjoy it after that period of time, and enjoy doing things on your own to benefit yourself. And I have to ask you, have you thought about designing or trying to design your own and maybe do it for other people?
So I actually did. The main issue is that, unfortunately, there are some pre-made models that actually do not allow for texture changes.
Right.
And unless I go and hunt down that specific model, make sure that it's allowed in the terms of service, there's a lot of things there. And since I don't want to violate anyone's artist terms of service, I just don't offer the service.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with that sort of thing.
It's too risky.
Yeah, well, you don't ever want to stomp on anybody's toes when you can avoid it as possible. It saves a lot of hassle, and it respects their work too.
Right.
But I would hope that if you got a hold of the artists and them, and they saw the work that you put in, that they'd allow you to do something with credit and such, obviously. But I don't know art. Believe me, I don't know art. You introduced me to art, I don't know him. Never met the guy in my life. So have you wanted to be an artist?
I actually didn't. I wanted to be I wanted to be a programmer.
Well, sometimes it goes hand in hand, depending on what types of things you're programming.
I actually originally majored in computer information systems in college. And then I switched to speech pathology. And I got a degree in neither. And I do neither.
That's okay. I got my degree in radio, and I'm working for the city now. Yeah.
That's respectable.
Yeah, well, it pays some bills. Not all of them, but
some.
At least more than it did in radio. I'll tell you that.
That's very fair.
Yeah. Well, you don't. I can tell you. Here's a little tip for everybody who's going through a problem with their bills. You can't get harassing phone calls if your phone's shut off. So two wrongs do make a right, and that's.
I guess so. I guess so.
See, there's a tin lining in every cloud. If you find it. Tin foil lining. So now that you've done it now almost 2 years, you're obviously comfortable with it. The folks are comfortable with you. Is there something you'd like to do on your stream that you haven't been able to do yet?
So I actually tried for the first time yesterday a full ASMR stream. And I got hit with a sexual content warning.
You're kidding. Oh, no.
So that's nice.
That's a little too good.
I was just like, okay, I got it. And Twitch is just like, no. Actually, no.
Well, it was worth the effort.
I tried.
Testing the boundaries. Oh, but
I want to do probably I would like to do more types of streams. I'm going to be covering my first ever Game Expo next week. So I want to try to branch out into different things that are not just the games that I'm playing every single week.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to go to it, or?
It will actually be online.
Oh, good.
Which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll help out quite a bit. It's great to have that technology available.
It is the world's first ever online 3D like game expo.
Ooh.
And I'm very excited to be covering it.
Oh, that'll be great. That's coming up next week.
It already started, and I'll be covering it next week.
Oh, okay. Well, folks, we're going to have the links in the description for this interview, so make sure you tune in and see what the Seira has got going on, because I imagine that you are going to be super excited to cover this, and it's going to show in the broadcast. That'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun. Make sure you put that up on my Discord too, okay? So everybody gets involved in it.
I definitely will.
The interaction that you've been able to get online with folks, has it all been pretty positive? Have you had to fight through a few things over the couple years?
Oh, 100%. I get harassed sometimes. Partially because of my race, because I am very much up front about the fact that I am Black and Latino. I've had my fair share of hate raids, people calling me slurs.
That's just so stupid.
People calling me things, and I'm like, you could have called me a slur, it would have hurt less.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least they put some effort into it, evidently, which is worse, I suppose. But it's
just like, I feel like a slur would have hurt less.
I'm an old man for sure, but I still don't understand putting out that much effort.
I don't get it.
I mean,
I don't get it.
I don't understand. There are so many wonderful people out there, and it's on the internet. It's like, not like you can't see anybody anyway. I mean,
yeah.
And you know that if you didn't look a certain way, or you didn't even tell them, they probably wouldn't care less. It's so stupid.
Oh no. But I tell them because I'm not afraid, because at the end of the day, I'm just like, your hatred falls on you. It doesn't fall on me.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's how they choose to be, then that's on them. That's not my problem.
Yeah, but still, though, it's stupid.
Oh, entirely. It's very stupid.
Yeah, but that hasn't even slowed you down, has it?
I try not to let it.
You've just been cruising right on through here. We talked a little bit about where you thought you'd be at this point. I mean, you're still going on. I mean, you've got a pretty good following of folks. Is knowing where you're at now and what you're going to be able to do this next week, how much pride does that give you that you've been able to do this?
It gives me a lot of pride because I've not just been able to grow on my own. I've been able to help other people.
Yeah.
I've done charity events. I've even helped people become VTubers. So it's really, really nice to get to watch other people grow and develop because of my input, whether it's direct or not.
Wow.
And I've been told by some of my friends even, who are just like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. No one would know that I was streaming. No one would know that I existed. And that it's a really nice feeling.
Yeah. It's very I always lose this word, but validating in a way for some folks. Maybe that's not quite the right word, but
I think that's the right word.
Yeah, maybe it is. But it really does. It would show me, if I was in you, that I belonged there. And I don't think there's any doubt in talking with you and seeing what you're doing that this was kind of made for you and you were kind of made for it.
I mean, I hope that's what it seems like. I have thrown everything that I am into this, everything that I can possibly throw into this, I have. Sometimes to the point that I am literally like driving myself to the point of like burnout. But I do it because I love it, and I do it because I can.
Yeah. Well, you obviously can, and you do it well. People are coming back for you. People that your friends are coming back, but still, you've got more friends now than ever because more people are coming. When you realize that, I mean, you're given the card you're dealt with, and now people in other countries are coming in to be with you for a while because you're you. How does that hit you?
It makes me want to not just continue, but to help others to find the same love and acceptance that I have been blessed with.
Well, if that doesn't put a smile on your face, I don't know what's going to. And believe me, during this entire time I've talked with you, Seira, I've had a smile on my face.
I'm so glad to hear it.
It's wonderful to talk with you. We had to chase Seira down a little bit.
I am so sorry.
For someone who doesn't get out of the house,
ADHD.
For someone who doesn't get out of the house, you're real tough to catch.
I have ADHD on top of the autism, so I can I'll schedule things and it's just I forget.
Oh, I'm just teasing you.
I'm so sorry.
I know I'm teasing. I'm just glad that you took the time to talk with us because I think we met a really fine person here and someone that is becoming and is one of the pillars of the community already in as far as VTubers go. I
wasn't gonna miss this.
I tell you, I use this term a lot, but this absolutely applies to you. That people are not a product of their circumstances; they are the triumph that emerges from those circumstances. And you have absolutely embraced that, whether you meant to or not. What you've been able to do here and are doing for other people is an absolute triumph. I salute you.
Thank you.
And I hope that you can come back sometime. If that schedule of yours will allow it, and by the way, I did not send a SWAT team over a little while ago. And those sirens are going off.
No, that's and anyone who's in my community knows that's just the background.
Yes. People can hear that like, what did you do? No, I didn't do that. And it wasn't on my end either. It happens a lot over here.
I promise. It wasn't. That's just the background noise here.
We didn't even get into your bank robbing history.
That's another cast. That's another cast.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope we can get you on again here soon. I want to make sure and tell us exactly when things are starting with the coverage next week.
Yeah, I have to actually figure that out myself. I'll probably do it on the 26th. Wednesday the 26th.
All right, Wednesday the 26th, folks. Tune in. We're going to have all of the links in the description here. Seira, thank you so much. And please come back.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.